2008 is a year humans will never forget, a year that proved to the world that Wall Street is not that smart. And although devastating to the average American, Adam McKay's The Big Short could serve as a band-aid to some of the victims of the economic disaster that took place in the late 2000s. I guess it's a ritual for me to say something outrageous while Bach plays in the background at the start of every video. Hey, can you blame me? I thought people wanted to learn how money really works, but they would rather watch 20v1s. So I have no choice but to say some dumb shit so you can watch the video long enough for YouTube to realize that this channel is necessary for society to function. Now, over to the real power-hungry finance nerds. In the fifth install of this series, we go over the ins and outs of Scion Capital LLC. Scion Capital LLC was a hedge fund founded and run by Dr. Michael Berry in 2000. Headquartered in Santa Monica, California, USA, Scion Capital was private and small in size, allowing Berry to operate with flexibility and pursue high-conviction contrarian trades. Berry, who some consider a madman, had an investment philosophy that was a combination of value investing, deep fundamental research, and contrarian strategies. Berry personally analyzed company financials, balance sheets, and SEC filings. He favored undervalued or mispriced assets overlooked by the market. Scion often held a small number of positions, sometimes fewer than 10, with large capital allocations per position. Berry didn't follow market trends. He looked for market inefficiencies and exploited bubbles. Scion used options and credit default swaps to take leveraged positions on macro bets. Berry was patient and willing to endure investor pressure to realize long-term gains, a philosophy consistent with Berry's background in medicine. Initially, Scion Capital focused on tech and value investing. Berry shorted overvalued tech stocks during the dot-com bubble, generating significant early returns for investors. He also invested in undervalued small-cap and mid-cap companies using a strict price-to-value approach. In its early years, Scion had modest assets under management, roughly $50 million. Between 2004 and 2005, Berry analyzed mortgage-backed securities and collateralized debt obligations. He detected that subprime mortgages were poorly underwritten with adjustable rates likely to reset and default, and saw that rating agencies overvalued these bonds, mispricing risk. Berry approached major banks to buy credit default swaps on subprime mortgage-backed securities. Effectively, he was betting that these securities would fail, a position many investors initially criticized. To be honest, anyone back then would have thought you were a lunatic to bet against the housing market. Many Scion investors panicked as credit default swaps positions lost value early. Berry held firm, citing his research and conviction. Eventually, the giant fell. Mortgage defaults surged, and Scion Capital earned over $700 million on $100 million invested, netting a 489% return for investors. Michael Berry became a legend to the world, and of course, Wall Street birds a few years later. Some see Michael Berry as a gambler who somehow ended up in charge of a hedge fund. Berry provided letters explaining his logic to investors, often to temper panic during drawdowns. Scion Capital was high conviction, high concentration, long waiting periods, and contrarian positioning, a style not made for the faint of heart. After the financial crisis, Berry closed Scion Capital in 2008. Despite strong convictions, investors were exhausted from all the pressure. Berry had the desire to manage his own capital, and he was disillusioned with macro trends and investor psychology. After closing, Berry returned capital to all outside investors and moved on to personal investing, and later Scion Asset Management in 2013. I'm just kidding, this is the end. Next week, we're moving on. We only have 5 more hedge funds to break down. I hope the few viewers I have are actually learning something from these videos, because I am. And that's it from me. Hope you have a great and amazing week.